When you think about retirement, it's easy to focus on that finish line, but what about after you retire? You need a plan, one that makes sure you have an income to support your lifestyle. Gabrielle Pfeiffer sat down with a financial planning expert. Here's what she learned in this segment sponsored by the Pension Group.
Here to help us develop a smart plan for retirement is Mike Martinez, president of the Pension Group. Good to see you, Mike.
Great to see you.
All right, so we know the saying, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. How does this relate to an investment strategy? Why is it so crucial in retirement?
Well, I think one of the key things in retirement, I think a lot of people think, well, I'm retired. And that could be 20, 30, 40 years. My dad's 90 now. So, my dad golfs at least 3 days a week.
Wow.
My mom's 87. She's not in the best of health. But, one of the things I tell people, you need to plan, for the next 20, 30 years. So it's kind of like, a lot of people saying, I'm getting close. I'm on the 5-yard line. We got, we got that Buckeye game this week, that big game. And it's like, hey, I'm going to punch it in the end zone and I'm retired. Well, okay, now that you're retired, you have to have a plan that changes. It's not going to be something that just stays the same. So it has to evolve. We need to make sure that we cover the expenses. Maybe we need to have guaranteed income like Social Security, maybe annuities, maybe municipal bonds that provide tax-free income, or Roth IRAs that provide tax-free income as well. So understanding that, I think, is crucial, but not just having it from one income source, having multiple income sources is key in retirement.
So if someone is planning to retire soon, and even thinking about your dad, right? He's 90 years old, he's golfing. What are some factors that people should consider when planning retirement? I'm sure that lifestyle is part of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a meeting, earlier this week with an individual who wants to travel a lot. Everyone's, they get, 60, 65 years of age and they finally retired, and it's like, what do I do? I'm used to working 40, 60, 80 hours a week, and some people want to go to Europe, some want to go down south, down to Florida, maybe Naples, or whatever the case might be. Everyone's a little different when it comes to what their retirement looks like. Maybe it's just spending time with their grandkids. Everyone's going to have a unique situation, but you need to make sure that you have the income in retirement, I think, is the biggest thing. Making sure that, and maybe some of it's tax-free income, not just taxable income. How's that going to play overall into the overall plan? We get into a lot of tax planning meetings with clients where we'll show them maybe take some money from an IRA and do a conversion into an IRA so that we can continue to build that up so that we have tax-free income later on in life for husband and wife, but then you can pass that asset on tax-free to your kids. So making sure, in retirement, you have that 20, 30-year time horizon, but make sure you get other things done. It's not just about investments, making sure you have your will up to date. You want to make sure that your beneficiaries are up to date.
And we know that planning isn't a one-size-fits-all process, right? It's different for everyone. How do you individualize everyone's plan?
Well, it really comes down to the individual, but maybe, instead of, being in mutual funds, majority of people are in 401ks, everything's mutual fund, mutual fund, mutual fund. But once you start getting over 500, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, we have institutional teams that manage over $12 billion, where we can do individual stocks and bonds. Right now, bonds are yielding right around 5 to 5.2%. And that's, locked in for the next 4 years. So this gives people that opportunity to get a great yield, better than what banks are paying today, or credit unions. Compared to CDs, they're really not paying anything today. They're probably less than 2%. So we have customized solutions for clients, but they have to have the money. I would say 500, $1 million and above is when we use other institutional money managers. But we can own 40 to 65 individual stocks, blue chip stocks, where they're going to pay a dividend, live on the dividend, not tap into principal. There's a lot of different strategies that a lot of people have been accustomed to, just putting money in their 401k. We just had a meeting with a gentleman last week, and he had $1.5 million in his 401k. And everything's in mutual funds. And again, there's other ways we can invest that money to give them the customization of individual stocks, bonds, and as interest rates come down, we know the Fed here is going to be reducing interest rates. If you own individual bonds, you're insulating yourself from the decrease in interest rate volatility. I had a client just a few years ago lock in at 7% for the next 4 years. So as interest rates have come down, what's happened? He's not affected. And again, we can help a lot of people, but I really tell people this: timing is everything.
Okay,
timing
that's
is
true.
everything,
It
because
is.
you can't keep delaying and delaying. Oh, those rates are going to continue. Once the Fed starts reducing those rates, and JP Morgan put out a statement just a few weeks ago, they anticipate the Fed reducing interest rates 4 times this year, 4 times. And you know, I don't think it's quite going to be 4, maybe 2, maybe 3, but it's certainly going to affect the interest rate environment when it comes to bonds, savings accounts. We're not going to have those high rates, but you can take the time now to give our team a call, because if you can lock in those rates now, that's for the next 4 years. You're not going to be affected by future rate decreases.
Okay, like you said, timing is everything. So make sure that you give Mike and his team a call. Thank you so much for the advice, Mike.
Great.